Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, Dr. Miller, when you look at the in-state in terms of, let's say, our conventional ground combat units are gone from the country, I suspect we would still have, after 2014, maybe some advisory presence, some light footprint, maybe some special operations personnel to do counterterrorism operations. What would you estimate the cost of that to be?
Mr. Bachman, your sense of the likely missions appears right to me, including counterterrorism and the train, advise, and assist mission. At this point, it's impossible to give either the...
I'm sorry, I'm referring to the cost of the U.S. taxpayer or the cost of international support to the Afghan government to sustain their security forces and what support that they would expect after 2014.
I see. We've had discussion about what the appropriate and necessary sustained level of contribution is for Afghan national security forces over time. As we had discussed earlier, you can think of it in a sense as what is the approximate cost to sustain at 352,000, which is where we are, which is we're at 330,000 today and growing to 352,000 for ANSF. There's a cost associated with that, and we are looking toward the international community to begin to pay a portion of that, at least starting in
Is it $4 billion? I've seen that figure. Is it $4 billion?
It's to sustain at 352,000. We would expect would be more than that.
More than that.
To sustain at a lower number, that it would be further down the road at a point in time when the insurgency had been further degraded and smaller. The number of $4 billion or a little over has been certainly part of the conversation, but I don't believe that is certainly at this point either the final answer for the cost of a given force, nor do I think it reflects a final answer on the implicit size of a force that's required at a given point in time. So I would say that the number that we know today is that we're growing to 352,000 for the Afghan National Security Forces. That at some point we expect that will come down. We don't know the timing of that, and because we don't know the timing of that nor the levels that will go to beyond 2014, can't give you a good estimate of costs. Although people are certainly making various estimates, and some of those estimates have accurately and inaccurately have appeared in the press.
General Allen, would you define our security objectives in Afghanistan as keeping al-Qaeda out, keeping the Taliban from taking over the country, and having some type of base of operations whereby we can launch counter-terrorism strikes, such as the one we did recently in taking out Osama bin Laden?
I would be very careful about the third as an articulation. At this juncture, first of all, there has been no discussion about with the Afghan government per se, a U.S. enduring presence post-2014. We anticipate concluding a strategic partnership accord in the not-too-distant future, and in conjunction with that conversation, we'll begin to have the discussions with the Afghans about what an enduring U.S. force might look like. At this juncture, the conversation is largely about roles and functions that might be undertaken. There will probably be a counterterrorism presence, but it will not be to operate in the region. It would be a counterterrorism presence to prevent al-Qaeda within Afghanistan from finding itself an operationally relevant safe haven, which it does not have now.
Thank you, General. Let me just say I'm torn on this mission. Having served in Iraq with the United States Marine Corps, I've been in meetings where we had to convince tribal leaders or convince tribal leaders to cooperate with us, knowing that if we let them down, that they would be dead, that al-Qaeda would come back, the insurgents would come back and would kill them. And so I believe that we have a moral obligation here, even though I believe it was the wrong path for America, that we could have achieved our security objectives without this heavy conventional footprint on the ground, without giving them a structure of governance that doesn't fit the political culture of the country, without trying to change their entire culture, and without trying to give them the economy that they never had at U.S. taxpayers' expense. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.